because connection, collaboration, and transparency are central to our mission.
My name is Koen de Koning. I am an economist in the Trade and Agriculture Directorate at the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in Paris. The OECD is an organization which brings together different governments, 38 governments, to discuss among each other and to share best practices about policies. And we, in the Secretariat, we do analysis to help those governments. So my role is in the Trade and Agriculture Directorates. I work, among other things, on how to measure environmental impacts of agri-food products. So at the OECD, we work on how to measure the environmental footprints, for example, carbon footprints of agri-food products, because we see that there are a lot of different initiatives out there at the moment. And on the one hand, if we play our cards right, if we do end up with good data on that, that could be very helpful. It could be a foundation for all kinds of public or private initiatives. But there's also a risk at the moment because there are so many different initiatives out there. We're using different methods, using different databases, different assumptions. So there's a risk of fragmentation. And that means that we could end up with many different schemes, with a fragmentation of different schemes, which just leads to more confusion, more transaction costs for farmers, for example, perhaps even trade barriers. And so that is why we are working on this topic, because we're trying to reduce that fragmentation. Animal feed is a really important element if you want to measure environmental footprints along the agri-food supply chain, because it is an important input, but at the same time, it is also itself often a product from the agricultural sector. So because it plays such a central role, if you get that element wrong, then you will get many other elements wrong as well. One of the challenges with animal feed is that it is, of course, a globally traded commodity. So you have to think about many different countries, each having very different agricultural sectors, different kinds of environmental impacts, different trade flows that cross multiple borders and so on. So that complexity is definitely one of the challenges in the sector. Well, we like to discuss our work with people from the sector because we see that there is already a lot of good work happening in those sectors. And a lot of the work that we have been doing at the OECD has actually been about talking to industry stakeholders, to experts, to people from civil society who are all working on similar things and to try to bring them together to learn from each other and again to help reduce that fragmentation. And it's one of the reasons why we have been discussing for quite some time with the Global Feed LCA Institute, GFLI, because it is an initiative by the feed industry to try and reduce that fragmentation of methods and data on environmental impacts of the feed industry.